As India rises on the global stage, becoming the world's most populous nation and on track to be the third largest economy within a decade, its international relations are under increasing scrutiny. Today, we delve into the complex dynamics between India, Russia, and the United States. In April 2023, India surpassed China as the world's most populous nation, boasting a young and dynamic population. With this demographic advantage, India is poised to become an economic powerhouse, already ranking as the world's third largest military spender and a significant player in global arms imports. Amidst its rise, India finds itself at the center of a strategic tug-of-war. The US and Western nations are increasingly engaging with India as a counterweight to China's growing influence. Businesses are shifting investments from China to India, while governments are seeking stronger alliances. The Quad, comprising India, the US, Japan, and Australia, epitomizes this strategic alliance aimed at countering China's assertiveness. Yet this relationship is not without its tensions. The West's duplicity in dealing with India raises critical questions about trust and mutual respect.
Russia also plays a key mitigating role between China and India to keeping the peace. The Americans are playing the exact opposite role, along with their European vassals. Their job is to push India and China into a massive war and effectively destroy both. Because if China falls, India's not going to be left alone. That's the key point. Nobody in the West is going to let India rise up and become a global power. That's the last thing they need. Washington doesn't need any competition. So India, if they can be bribed right now, they'll try to bribe it. But in the future, it has to be destroyed just like everybody else. Split up and broken up so they can be drained of resources and kept at a certain level of production.
On one hand, the US praises India's democracy and economic stability. On the other, it criticizes India on issues of religious freedom and human rights. This contradiction fuels antipathy and undermines the foundations of a strong bilateral relationship. A recent example is the US urging India to pressure Russia over Ukraine. Following Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Russia, both the US State Department and the White House called on India to use its influence to end the conflict.
Could I follow up on one more? There's another visitor in Moscow today, Prime Minister Modi of India. Obviously India has a long-standing relationship with Russia. What do you think of the timing of this right before the NATO summit and in light of what's going on?
Yeah, so again, we did just see Modi, like Orban, meet with President Zelensky. We thought that was an important step to take. And we would urge India, as we do any country when it engages with Russia, to make clear that any resolution to the conflict in Ukraine needs to be one that respects the UN Charter, that respects Ukraine's territorial integrity, Ukraine's sovereignty, and India is a strategic partner with whom we engage in a full and frank dialogue, and that includes on our concerns about the relationship with Russia.
Indian Prime Minister Modi is visiting Russia. We all seen the footage that he's hugging, being friendly with Putin, also seeking deepen bilateral relationship. We see that that Ukrainian President Zelensky already expresses disappointment. Is the United States concerning that India, as a U.S. ally, might be actually adding Russia either unintentionally or intentionally?
I believe my NSC colleagues have spoken to this. I'll just add that and just reiterate that India is a strategic partner with whom we engage in full and frank dialogue, including their relationship with Russia. And we've talked about this before. So we think it's critical that all countries, including India, support efforts to realize an enduring and just peace when it comes to Ukraine. It is important for all our allies to realize this. And so we also believe India's longstanding relationship with Russia gives it the ability to urge the President Putin, to end his brutal war, an unprovoked war in Ukraine. It is for President Putin to end. President Putin started the war, and President Putin can end the war.
India, however, maintains its stance on peaceful resolution while valuing its long-standing ties with Russia. The U.S. pressure tactics highlight a critical misstep. If the West seeks a genuine partnership with India, it must move beyond transactional diplomacy and colonial hangovers. The relationship should be built on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. India's diplomatic strategy showcases its ability to balance relations, strengthening ties with nations across Europe and the Middle East while maintaining robust partnerships with Russia and Iran, reflects India's nuanced and independent foreign policy. In conclusion, the U.S. and the West must recognize and respect India's strategic autonomy. Only through sincere and equal engagement can they hope to forge a lasting and constructive relationship with a nation set to become a global leader.